guys, this is Cheri on with Fullerton Professional Organizing, and today we're talking about Vicki Timoteo or Timoteo Timoteo, in case you want to look up her YouTube. And on her YouTube channel, she talks about her life as an empty nester. They do a lot of activities with their grown children. She's from Seguin, Texas, and she's been married 30 years. But she talks about things that these are just some things that she throws out here on her video that I watched. Some hacks that she does are frozen vegetables. Use the cut. I don't even know what my notes said. Cut off. Oh, she has a hack where she takes the bag of frozen vegetables, and when she cuts off the end, she uses that plastic that she cut off at the end to open the vegetables. She uses it to tie around the vegetables when before she saves them. So she doesn't need a twist tie, or she doesn't need any clippies, since now it's just her husband and her and her husband. She doesn't use the whole bag of frozen vegetables, so she just ties it with the top that she cut off of the bag. I thought that was pretty creative. Because I purchased clippies for all of my bags, and when they get accidentally thrown in the trash when you have kids, you have to buy more. This way, even if you had kids or didn't have kids, you don't have to buy any new clippies. You just use that piece of plastic that you cut off the bag. I thought it was brilliant. I had never heard that before. The other thing she loves as an empty nester is battery organizer and drawer dividers. She says, be prepared for the emotions of becoming an empty nester. Have a plan for the day that they move out. These are tips for when your kids move out. Identify things you have always wanted to do but couldn't, and maybe make a wish list of all the things you now want to do and places that you want to go. She's gone to all kinds of places overseas. They do a lot of traveling now. Identify things you have always wanted to do but couldn't. Plan things with your spouse or your friends for the day of them moving out. Plan for this time without your kids by maintaining the relationship. And she says the first place you should travel to if you travel overseas is London, because she says it's not as expensive as you might think it is. So I found that interesting. Our first trip as an empty nester was to Colorado, a cabin in the woods, and I absolutely loved it, and we for sure want to go back. Okay, another person I got some tips from, Cheri Fletcher, or Cheri Fletcher, episode 116. She says 6 things to let go of. Knowing things about your kids. Now that they've moved out, there are things you're just not going to know anymore. Feeling left out. Just be prepared for that. You're not always going to know everything your kids are doing anymore. Their priorities are not yours anymore. Communication. Some will be daily, but some will not be very much. Just let go of the fact that your kids are going to all have different ideas of how much time they spend communicating with you and how often. Your opinions and advice. Pray, don't say. She says pray for them, but don't give them your advice. Don't give them your opinions. Traditions and obligations. Let go of traditions and obligations, because now they're not going to have the same feelings about them Sometimes they will, and sometimes they won't. Especially once they get married, they're going to make their own traditions. They may incorporate some from when they were at home with you, but their spouse is also going to want to incorporate some from her family. So they are going to change. Every time you help your kid without permission, you are robbing them from their own victory. Victory has to be their own. They have to learn how to get to the other side and get through it on their own. Do not steal the struggle. Let them struggle. Do not steal their own victory. That was just a reiteration. Let go of our idols. What are people going to think? Let go of pride. Their failure is not our failure. Worry is the worship of circumstances. Control. God defines you. Let go of guilt. We do the best we can with the knowledge we have. Give yourself grace as a parent. Now, I think that was Jill Savage. She says, stinkin' thinkin', no value anymore, not good enough, what could I have done better? Ecclesiastes says there are seasons for everything, and to let go of time, and there are seasons to hold on. There are seasons to let go, and there's time to hold on and let go of guilt. Perfection, infection, unrealistic expectations of ourselves and our lives, fear of control, opinion of and kids' problems. Let go of expectations, the feeling of feeling left out. These are just kind of we're saying the same things over and over. But here's a little review of what Vicki talks about with empty nesting. That was the first YouTuber that we talked about. We're going to review some of the stuff that she says. Vicki recalls her path to fulfillment as an empty nester and passes on her advice for making the most of life after her kids leave home. Prepare a schedule for the day that your child moves out. This is just a review of some of the things that she said, that I said at the beginning of this podcast. Prepare a schedule for the day that your children moves out or you're dropping them off at school to keep your mind and body busy. Being an empty nester gives you a little bit of freedom. It gives you opportunity to kind of find your niche in life. Remember that your goal as a parent has always been to work yourself out of a job. When your child leaves home, that means you have succeeded in your purpose. Be prepared for your emotions. They are a natural part of the process. Embrace them and realize it is okay if you are down in the dumps for a few days. Just don't live there forever. It gets better soon. You will learn your new life and find joy in it. You now have time to pursue things that you may not have had time for or been scared to do. It's an opportunity to enjoy doing something completely for yourself. Following this new path can bring freedom to try new things and more confidence than at any other point in your life. Fill your calendar for the first few weeks after your child leaves home and give yourself a structure and things to look forward to. Keep the lines of communication with your children open. Set a specific time daily or weekly to text or call them. Begin a long-term project such as organizing your photos or starting a YouTube channel like I did or she did, and schedule a weekly date night with your spouse or plan a regular social outing with another support person like sister or friends. Travel. She says England is a great place to start with a common language, or make use of the Google Translate app to ease other international travel destinations. Use that Google Translate. That is going to be your friend. Well, I found a lot of these very helpful, especially a lot of the tips from Cheri Fletcher and Jill Savage. Those were very, very helpful, because it is true. When your kids move out, their failures and their the things that you expect from them are not a reflection of you. They have to find their own path. They have to find their own way. And you just have to continue to communicate, continue to love them. And I liked the one where she says, instead of giving them opinions or advice, pray, do not say. It's just like the advice I was given when my husband and I first got married. You never bring any of your arguments and quarrels and negativity in your marriage to your parents. And Doug never brought his negativity to his parents, and I never brought my negativity to my parents, because what happens is it gives them a different opinion of your spouse, and those are not what you want, because some of these things you want to tell people are out of anger, and then once you've worked through it, things look a lot different to you than they do to the people that you've talked to. So it's the same with our kids. Just let them grow up and let them go through their own struggles. But as an empty nester, find your own fun now. Travel, even if it's inexpensive travel, even if it's just staycations. Go and do the activities that are around you that you didn't do when you had kids. In my case, I live near Padre Island, sort of, or Corpus. You go to Corpus, you go to Padre Island, you do all of those local activities that you didn't do when you had kids. And then you can start going out a little bit further. It just depends on your budget and the amount of weekends that you can dedicate to that. All right, guys, I hope that empty nest info was very helpful to you. As an empty nester, you will get through it. You will find your own way. And I will talk to you on the next podcast. Thanks for watching.